all my years of going to church as an adult, I never had asked myself this question that hit me after hearing this story. Y'all ready for the story? Hey guys, it's your girl Ken and welcome back to the channel Simply Study. We are back with faith-fueled conversations with Ken, but the bedtime edition. So join me in getting cozy, put your PJs on, pop yourself a bag of popcorn, and let's get into today's faith-fueled conversation. I went to church last Sabbath and this story got me really thinking, really thinking. I was like, dang. In all my years of going to church as an adult, I never had asked myself this question that hit me after hearing this story. Y'all ready for the story? So there was this professional tightrope walker back in the 19th century. His name was Charles Blondin. This man was absolutely no joke. He walked across Niagara Falls on a rope. He walked across it in some wild, daring ways. So one day he asked the crowd, he's like, "Do you believe that I can walk across this tightrope?" The tightrope was 1,100 feet long going across Niagara Falls. And the crowd was like, What is this? No, please do not do that. Save yourself, they shouted. But guess what? He did it. Not only did he do it, he did it successfully. Obviously, because if he fell, that would have been pretty detrimental. Then he asked, "Do you believe I can walk across this tightrope blindfolded?" Some people were like, "Nah, bro, you're doing too much." Others were unsure, but they were still like, if he can walk across it, then he might be able to do it blindfold. Okay. So he did it again, blindfolded, and he nailed it. Now the crowd is lit. The crowd's like, "Woo, go Charles Blondin." They're cheering, they're screaming, they're amazed at this point. They believe in him now, for sure, right? So then one day he crosses again. This time he's pushing a wheelbarrow. And after making it across the tightrope, he turns to the same crowd, the cheering crowd, the believing crowd, people who had witnessed it all. And he asks, "Do you believe I can take a person across in this wheelbarrow?" After all, they had seen the crowd is screaming, "Yes, of course you can. Absolutely. You're amazing. You are the Charles Blondin." They believed, they trusted, so they thought. Because then Blondin asked another question. He goes, "Oh, all right, cool. So who's going to volunteer to get in this wheelbarrow right now, today, this moment?" And just like that, it was silent. And it was funny because at church when he was telling this story, everyone was like, "No, sir." So it's just funny to think the crowd was just like, yeah, no one volunteered. And that's when it hit me. I was like, hold up. Why not? They'd seen it with their own eyes. He had a perfect track record. He was qualified for the job. Proven. So what happened? Because what's crazy is we do the same exact thing with God. God says, "Put your life in my hands. Trust me now. Trust me today." And we say, "Yes, yes, Lord, I believe you. I trust you. Here's my life. Here it is." But when it's time to actually get in the wheelbarrow, when it's time for you to actually get in the hot seat, when it's time for you to actually show up, when it's time to hand over the control, surrender that comfort, that pride, that reputation, your safety net, your plans, silence. We freeze, we hesitate. We're like, But here's the truth. God's track record is A1. We read the Bible stories. We've seen these miracles. We watch them show up in our lives again and again and again and again and again. And still we're silent, standing on the sidelines. So that was the pre-synopsis of what we're going to be talking about today. The topic is none other than the scariest topic known to man. Nobody wants to talk about it, but everybody knows it's coming. Everybody knows we're getting closer and closer every day. That topic is none other than the last day events, the end times, the scary times, the times that the Bible talks about in Revelation. And to be honest with you guys, this topic really used to terrify me. And I mean, like, terrified, like shaking in my boots, like, what? God's people are going to be what? Persecuted, killed by people who claim to be God's people? Will be forced to choose between loyalty to God and survival? That just sounds wild. No food, no money, no buying or selling unless I take the mark of the beast. What happens if I say no? Ridicule, starvation, imprisonment, watching your family suffer, maybe even killed in front of you. And not because you did anything wrong, but literally just because you want to follow God. You refuse to bow down to a system that goes directly against Jesus Christ. What's really crazy about the situation is no matter how hard we try, we cannot run from it. You can't go to another country. You can't go into some fancy off the grid property in the woods. This is going to be global, massive. And guess what? God said so. So you can put money on it that it's going to happen. So here's the big question. Why aren't people talking about this? Why do we avoid something that is literally life or death, literally heaven or hell, literally our salvation is tied to this thing? And I'll tell you why. It goes back to the story that I told you. People don't trust God enough to get into the wheelbarrow and cross the tightrope. They don't want to face the scary waters that are going to be below. They don't want to surrender that control to God. But again, the truth is, it's coming. It's inevitable. And I'm just going to give a light synopsis. I'm not going to get into detail, but the Bible actually explicitly tells us how it will plan out. So the world is basically turning into a digital concentration camp. You think the 15-minute cities, there's cameras everywhere. Every dollar will be tracked because we are moving to digital money. Boop, I don't want to hear it. It's happening. It's coming. Watch the WEF. Okay? Every conversation will be monitored, and it will all be used in the name of safety and making the world a better place. A system that's going to form church and state, dragging us back into something that mirrors the Dark Ages, where religious powers were in high places and authoritative places, and they persecuted those who did not fall in line. An image to the beast will be created, which basically means laws and policies will be enforced to favor and show loyalty to this global system that's coming. Revelations 13 is clear, ladies. The U.S. will play a major role in leading the world into this deception. That's why it's called the Global Reset. You might have heard of it as well as the 2030 plan. People will be disregarded, rich, poor, innocent, guilty, imprisoned, separated from their families. If we just take a look now and see what they're doing to the immigrants, we barely know the truth about how they're being treated. If they can do this to innocent strangers, people, what makes you think that they won't do worse to those who openly go against their systems? That's just something to think about. This is the point of everything I'm saying. Don't run from the truth. Don't be paralyzed by having this conversation. Don't be paralyzed and stop yourself from knowing what's going on. And stop watching CNN because that's not real news. What we need to do is trust God to get us across the tightrope in the wheelbarrow. That's the tough part. Let God carry you. That's what faith looks like in these last days. So let's make it a little bit more practical. Because to be honest with you, ladies, you just don't wake up ready for what's to come overnight. You don't wake up the day of your race and think you're about to run this race. No, you've been eating properly for this race the whole time. You've been training for this race the whole time. So why are we not preparing for this? It starts now. We have to train for this now. That means daily devotions. Make time for God every day. Learn to drop to your knees when you feel that something is overpowering you or something feels weird or you really don't know what to do. Drop to your knees. Y'all know how to put hands on your knees. So let's learn to drop to our knees. We should be changing our eating habits, not just for health reasons, but to train your body and your mind for self-control, learning to deny yourself. This little discipline, it actually matters. Changing your dress. Stop conforming to the world in small ways. You're probably like, what? Changing my dress? It's showing your allegiance in your clothes to who you are already following. The small compromises now that we make will be so much easier to make big compromises down the line. Change your conversation, change your music, change your environment, change your goals. Some of us are still looking to be rappers. What are you talking about being a rapper? We need to start being radical for Christ now. We need to choose what the world calls unsafe, what the world calls unpopular, what the world calls too extreme. We need to be choosing that now, because following Christ in the last days will be all of that and way more. The Bible says in Luke 16:10, whoever is faithful in very little will also be faithful in very much. So if you can't even be faithful to God right now in these calm times, how are you going to be faithful to him when you can't feed your kids? How are you going to be faithful to him when you swipe your card and it doesn't work? How are you going to be faithful to him when you're looking around and your life's in danger? How are you going to be faithful to him when they're talking about they're going to throw you in prison? And to be honest with you guys, I already know what you're thinking. Oh, this is a fear-based message. This is insanity. You're a radical. You're crazy. Blah, bloop, bloop, blah, blah. Go read the Bible. That's what I have to say for you. Because this is not a fear message. The whole point of this is don't run from the reality of what's coming. Run to God. Get in the wheelbarrow. Let go of the distractions. Let go of things that make you uncomfortable and start preparing now, not later. Let God start teaching you how to trust him now, with your marriage, with your eating habits, with your patience, with your devotion. Start really trusting him now, because when the world goes dark, you gotta trust something. So to whoever is listening to this right now, get into the wheelbarrow today. Get into the wheelbarrow now. When you turn this video off, get on your knees and pray immediately. If you feel compelled to pray now, turn the video off and get to praying, because I want all of us to be in heaven. I want all of us to be experiencing life to the fullest while we can now, which is trusting in God and getting in the wheelbarrow. Y'all, sorry about the noise in the back. That rain and that thunder is going crazy, but I really hope that you enjoyed today's video, Faith Fuel Talks with Ken, bedtime edition. In the next video, y'all might see me with my bonnet on, so do not judge me. I was trying to be cute and classy tonight, but tomorrow night I might have that bonnet on. But I'll catch y'all in the next video. Bye.